I am so excited to see everyone back on campus. Today, I have a show filled with special videos from the BSU at CB and important updates about COVID testing at CB. Let's get Friday's show started. Roll the Important news, Falcons. CB is going to begin COVID testing for students on campus. Cohort B students will come to campus on Mondays to get tested from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Cohort A students will come onto campus on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 5:30. Thanks to the Environmental Club, California poppy seeds are being sold this week after Valentine's Day. It costs $1. Money is donated to the Consumnes River Preserve. They are taking cash only. How to buy? They will be sold during lunch at a table in front of the Learning Commons. For the C cohort, there will be a drive-by sale today after school from 2:30 to 3. There is a makeup picture day scheduled for Friday, February 26th at 2021 from 2 to 5 p.m. Cohort A students who attend class on Friday will be photographed starting at 2 o'clock. Cohorts B and C makeups are invited to come between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Please remember to wear a CB polo shirt. This will be the last chance to have a photo included in the yearbook and to get a current school ID. Please contact Ms. Powers, Dean of Students, if you have any questions. In honor of Black History Month, the Black Student Union has provided with some special videos on important figures in African American history. Let's see what they have brought us today.
Susan Rice was
Ambassador Susan Rice.
Susan Rice.
Susan E. Rice.
Susan Rice.
Ambassador Rice.
Susan Rice.
Susan Rice, born on November 17, 1964, is best known for her career in American politics. During President Bill Clinton's second term, Rice was the U.S. Ambassador of the United Nations and served on the National Security Council. As of 2021, Rice has been handpicked by President Joe Biden to serve as Director of the Domestic Policy Council in the Biden administration. She is a present-day example of Black excellence.
My name is DeMonte Robinson, and for Black History Month, I would like to talk about the Tuskegee Airmen. This is a piece of history that my family is a part of. My great-great-uncle Robert Early Williams, or Uncle Bob as my dad would call him, was a Tuskegee Airman. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first Black military aviators in the U.S. Army Air Corps, a precursor to the U.S. Air Force. Trained at the Tuskegee Army Airfield in Alabama, they flew more than 15 individual missions in Europe and North Africa during World War II. Their impressive performance earned them more than 150 distinguished flying crosses and helped encourage the eventual integration of the U.S. Armed Forces. For the training site, the War Department chose the Tuskegee Army Airfield in Tuskegee, Alabama, home to the prestigious Tuskegee University, where both my dad and uncle graduated from 6 years later. Founded by Booker T. Washington, it was located in the heart of the Jim Crow South. By the time the 332nd flew in its last combat mission on April 26, 1945, 2 weeks before the Germans surrendered, the Tuskegee Airmen had flown more than 15,000 individual missions over 2 years in combat. After their brave service, the Tuskegee Airmen returned home to a country where they continue to face systematic racism and prejudice. But they did represent an important step forward in the preparing of the nation for the racial integration of the military, which began with President Harry Truman, who issued Executive Order 9981, desegregating the U.S. Armed Forces and mandating equality of opportunity and treatment on July 26, 1948. The Tuskegee Airmen left a lasting legacy where we are able to learn more about their impact on World War II as well as their impact to societal progress as a whole, both at the Tuskegee Airmen Museum in Detroit and as well as the National Historic Site in Tuskegee, Alabama. One recent legacy is the red-tails version of the Air Force Falcons football team uniforms.
If you have access to Disney Plus, check out the movie Red Tails. Christian Brothers High School partners with Vitalant to host 2 blood drives throughout the school year. With all of the changes we have experienced during the pandemic, hosting a blood drive on campus is not feasible for us. We are still committed to the mission of saving lives through blood donation, so we are hosting a virtual blood drive. This is your invitation to take part in this innovative event to support hospital patients in our community. We are hoping to get at least 100 people to donate during the week of February 21st. Alumni, friends, neighbors, all are encouraged, appreciated, and welcome. For information on how to sign up, check the daily bulletin on Schoology. Calling all artists. It is time to get ready for the 29th annual LaSalle Art Exhibit. You may submit up to 3 works of art in any medium by Friday, March 12th to be considered for the event and possibly win $250. All artwork must include a completed submission form. This virtual show is open to all CV students, faculty, and staff. Cohorts A and B drop-off times, room 104 or 305 on-campus learning days. Cohort C drop-off times, in front of the school on Wednesday, March 10th from 8:15 to 8:45 a.m. and 2:30 to 3 o'clock. Also, you can donate on Thursday, March 11th from 7:45 to 8:15 a.m. Digital art and digital photography submissions only may submit digital JPEG or PNG files by messaging Mr. Polo Lopez on Schoology and attaching files with submission forms before the deadline. Include pixel dimension /DPI if relevant. If you haven't seen the CB Theater Showcase, it's still available on the KBFT YouTube channel. Look for the link on Schoology. Coming to you from Video 1, we have a wonderful story about life during COVID and student habits. Let's
In the teenage years, students are in the process of forming formidable habits, but online school makes it easy to subvert these habits and become less motivated. I talked with 2 faculty members and 2 students about the possible reasons for the decline in student motivation.
My motivation usually drops throughout the year, so it has. And then once online school hit, I really was less motivated.
So, we've given students the opportunity to stay at home. They found that it's very convenient and it makes being a student easier.
It's just something calming about just laying in your bed while in a class.
Sleep is also a big factor in student motivation.
I don't think that any period of time of disrupting sleep or those sorts of rhythms is healthy.
Because I just compensate for having more time by staying up extra late.
As explained by sophomore Maddie McDougall, setting goals is also important.
I need to start making a difference in these habits just because I have goals for myself, and if I don't maintain them, I'm not going to achieve them.
We still have service in some ways. LaSalle Youth is still doing service. SALT is still doing service. Of the spirit of faith, I can see it in my students. I can read it in their papers. But, as we become more and more nodes on a network, I feel like we lose some of what makes us so beautifully human.
Nolan Fernandez talks about the possibility of going back to school in person.
I cannot imagine going back to school full time now. I basically have lost most of my motivation, and everything that I used to do, I no longer see how I was able to do that.
However, Mr. Purdy takes a more optimistic approach.
You can change habits, but it normally takes you, 2 to 3 weeks of being committed to rebuilding those habits that you had before it'll kind of become part of just a natural process again.
By setting goals and maintaining good habits, it becomes easier to stay motivated during these trying times. For video production, this has been Nick Goldberg reporting.
On how music is an escape for students. Let's begin.
Music is a universal experience that every culture has in common. It can bring people together in a way other things simply cannot. Now more than ever, people feel disconnected from each other due to social restrictions from the pandemic. I spoke with 4 teens who share their experience and personal connection to music in their lives.
I think music has impacted me as a person. I mean, just like in quarantine, crazily, because we've all had so much to do, and I think that's been one thing that I've been really glad that I could do. And like, I think that's like the one thing that can still unite us, even though we're all so far apart.
So yeah, during quarantine or whatever, we've really been feeling enclosed, especially me, because not a lot of activities outside, but writing music down and playing instruments like I like the piano and the guitar really helps me express and open up when, you know, we're being trapped inside almost.
Whether you're meditating, going on a run, or just dancing in your room, different types of music puts us in different moods. Joe talks about how listening to music makes him feel, while Joaquin talks about how writing music allows him to express his emotions.
The most beautiful thing about music is that it can amplify any feeling, and it can diminish feelings, and it just makes you feel more. It just makes you feel in general, and that's a beautiful thing.
Writing music is what I do to relieve stress, I guess. It makes me feel better, allows me to express my emotions onto a piece of paper. Or
Nick talks about how playing an instrument may have a different effect from listening to or writing it, but either way, it evokes emotions in people that make us feel happy, sad, calm, and excited.
Playing an instrument is definitely a very different feeling than listening to songs, because you're active and you're partaking in the music that helps evoke emotion. So playing saxophone and clarinet definitely brings a sense of calm and security and control to me, because I get to control how the music is played and how it feels.
These teens have all been impacted by song and will continue to use it to bring joy to themselves and others.
Go check out my music. It's Second Half by Viva.
This has been Sophia Garcia reporting for Video Production 1.
That's all for today, Falcons. Thank you for joining me on this very fun-filled show. We will see you next week. Don't forget to come to campus to get COVID tested. This has been episode 34 of season 19 of the Talon Morning News. Have an awesome weekend, CB.